Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and wearing this shirt finally once again. Once again, thank you Michael Keane for sending this great shirt. Got this shirt from my good friend Michael Keane. Had the day off from work, thankfully. Stayed in. It's hotter than hell everywhere. In fact, my friend Efrey said that in New York, I'm sure other places, people are actually dying from heat stroke. Not just because they don't have enough water, but literally just being outside. So I'm staying inside unless I got work or I gotta do groceries. I'm not going anywhere. So I stayed in, watched movies, drinking something different. Mountain Dew Typhoon, sort of like a Mountain Dew with punch, which I like. Why not? Limited edition. I don't know if you heard that, probably not, but it's storming now, which, granted, it's probably not smart to be doing this while it's storm, but it was hot all day, so it was going to storm anyway. But anyway, I wanted to do, in a weird way, 4 reviews. 4 films I saw today that I rented from the store I work at, video store. And I wanted to talk about them. As you can see up above, they are... You got the Adjustment Bureau. I'll just show them the Adjustment Bureau, the Source Code, a film called Elephant White, and Unknown. So let's get right off the bat. Saw this film, the Adjustment Bureau. Now the Adjustment Bureau came out, I know it stars Matt Damon. And I'm clicking on Wikipedia just to get the info, like who directed and stuff. Like for instance, George Nolfi directed this. I'm not sure what much he's done. Well, he was a writer on Timeline, which I wasn't a big fan of Timeline. He wrote Ocean's 12. He wrote The Bourne Ultimatum, and then he wrote, produced, and directed this film. So this is the first film he directed. I gotta say, for his first film to direct, he did a commendable job. I liked the Adjustment Bureau. I liked it a lot, actually. It's based on a Philip K. Dick story, so that might be part of it. I liked a lot of the films of Philip K. Dick. Either the films that are based on his work, like Blade Runner, Total Recall, Screamers, Paycheck, film Nicolas Cage called Next. A lot of people don't like that film, but I like all those films. I like Blade Runner, Total Recall, Screamers, love those films. I really enjoyed Paycheck. I did a review of Paycheck. You can check back on my review of Paycheck to see why I liked it. Next, with Nicolas Cage, a lot of people don't like that one. But that's actually one of my favorite Nick Cage films, Next, because I like the idea where, he can see this much into the future, so he's dodging bullets, and I thought that was really fun. Minority Report, it's okay, I don't love it, don't hate it. But yeah, this is based on a Philip K. Dick story. And basically you have Matt Damon. He is a guy running for the Senate. And he meets this woman, and he's realizes he's kind of lost, and he's got to give his speech about losing. But he meets this woman in the men's bathroom. And Matt Damon and the woman, what's her name? I want to do her name right too. She did a good job in this film. Emily Blunt. They worked really well together. They have a solid chemistry to it. They really did. I enjoyed you bought that these two fell in love with each other. And they have a good rapport back and forth with each other. Again, you buy that these two fell in love with each other. And she sort of inspires him to do this speech that's sort of off script, and it's well received by the public, so it's a little while later. And the Adjustment Bureau is a little bit of sci-fi. Basically, the Adjustment Bureau is this group of people. Some people call them angels, some people don't. They wear a lot of different types of hats. Their boss is the chairman, which you could probably associate with God or whatever, but they don't get too much into the religious aspect, which that's fine, didn't really need it. they sort of watch people's paths and sort of apparently there's a plan and to sort of guide people on their path. And there's a mistake made by one of them. This character of Harry, played by Anthony Mackie, he messed up, and because apparently Matt Damon's character was not supposed to see that girl again. Oh, he was actually in the Hurt Locker. Okay, he was good in the Hurt Locker as well, Anthony Mackie. He wasn't supposed to see this girl again, but he's sort of in love with her and he wants to stay with her, and they don't. That's not in the plan. So they basically try to keep him away from her. At first, like, threaten him for, like, if you tell her who we are, we're going to lobotomize you. They grab him and they burn the phone number he was given. He didn't know her last name, so he can't find her. Years later, he's able to find her again. They call in a Terrence Stamp's character, and basically he says, you know, apparently Matt Damon's character is going to be the president if he follows his path, and she's going to be this great choreographer. But if you keep this up, you know, you're going to ruin your dreams, you're going to ruin hers. I think he, like, sort of breaks or hurts, does something so she gets hurt, so he sort of walks away. And it ends to the finale where that character Harry again, Anthony Mackie's character, Anthony Mackie from the Hurt Locker, he gives him his hat, because a way that they sort of don't overuse their powers that they have to have a hat on. It sounds silly, but it worked well with the story. And basically, it's the third act is a chase where he has to get to her, and like they can go through doors, so like they open a door and all of a sudden they're in the football stadium, and then they open another door and they're in the city. So it's worked out well in that way, and these are going to be sort of shorter reviews. I'm going to try, because I got through 4 of them. And Adjustment Bureau really, it's not an action film. Not an action film at all. At all. It's more of a good thriller, love story, drama. I don't know, the story sucked me in. The 2 performances by Matt Damon and Emily Blunt were solid. Anthony Mackie was good too. The story had a good story to it. So I enjoyed the Adjustment Bureau. It'd definitely be in my top 10 of 2011. Again, you really buy the Matt Damon and Emily Blunt that they fall for each other. Good chemistry. So I really enjoyed the Adjustment Bureau. Another film I saw, which kind of a lame, you know, nothing, ooh, but The Source Code. I don't mean about the movie, I mean about just the way this looks, just looks bleh. But The Source Code with Jake Gyllenhaal. Another film I enjoyed. I would put this in my top 10 of 2011 as well. Like I said, Jake Gyllenhaal stars. I believe it is directed by the same guy who directed a film called Moon. Yeah, Duncan Jones, who directed Moon. Moon is a very good sci-fi film. I really enjoyed that one. Definitely one of my favorite films of 2009. But I think this is the second film he did, and he followed up pretty. He did a good job in a follow-up. Probably like Moon a little bit better, but Source Code, just basically try and get as much info as possible on this film. There's Jake Gyllenhaal, and I'm trying to see if this was based on anything, based on the story or something like that. It got a lot of good reviews. It got 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's pretty damn high. Very high marks, 91%. That's hard to do. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really see that it's based on like a book or anything, but if it is, I didn't find it. But long story short, the source code, you have Jake Gyllenhaal. He wakes up on this train, and he doesn't know what the hell's going on. He doesn't know who this woman is. He doesn't know what's going on. All of a sudden, a bomb explodes on the train, and he wakes up, and he's sort of in this little space, and he's sort of strapped in. Because in reality, he's in Air Force He's a captain or something. He works for the Air Force. He has this woman, and you really feel bad for Jake Gyllenhaal's character. He's trying to ask questions. What's going on? Who am I? And at first, the woman talked to him, Colleen Goodwin. Actress's name is Vera Farmiga. Really is a bitch, because he's like, who's the bomber? Who's the bomber? And the guy doesn't even know what the fuck's going on. And it didn't really make sense to me. Why don't you just tell him specifically what's going on? Oh, we don't have time. We don't have time. Bitch. And then Jeffrey Wright's there. He plays an asshole character too. It's like, just fucking tell him straight out. Blah, 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 blah. See, the whole thing is, he's in this place, and it's not a time travel movie. Not really. It's more like, kind of remind me a little bit of Quantum Leap. You know, he's this one person, but he goes back into the body of another person. By the end, he's a helicopter pilot, and his whole thing is he has to locate the maker of this bomb. Same guy who destroyed this train earlier that day, he's going to have a bigger bomb to destroy a good chunk of Chicago. Which is kind of weird because Transformers 3, for understand, Chicago got it bad there too. And the source code, I'm just going to read it. A time loop program that allows him to take over someone's body in a reenactment of their last 8 minutes of life. So then he's basically take over this teacher's, the last 8 minutes of his life. And Jake Gyllenhaal's character has no memory of how the hell he got there, and you find out later on what's happened to him, really. I'm not sure if I should spoil it. I probably won't. I know, rare. Because I want people to check this out. Because the source code has an interesting idea. You hate the woman he's talking to, the Air Force lady at first, the captain at first, but throughout the film you kind of like her a little bit more and more. But you really feel for Jake Gyllenhaal's character. I think Jake Gyllenhaal brought his A game to this, because he has to go back another 8 minutes, try to figure out what's going on, where this bomb is, talking with this lady who likes, I guess, the person he's in, likes his character, find out who is making the bomb, and a little bit of Groundhog's Day, a little bit of Quantum Leap, a little bit with not really time travel. It's more like, well, I'm not sure if I should give it away. All I want to say is, watch the trailer of the source code. I thought it was a very interesting film. Not quite how I expected things to go, but at the same time, I still enjoyed the journey. It does not have a downbeat ending, I can say that. I don't know, just a really interesting movie, interesting story. I'm being very vague because I want people to check this out. But yeah, the source code with Jake Gyllenhaal, I thought Duncan Jones did another great job directing. The film cost around 30-some million and made doesn't really say how much it's made so far. I think it did pretty well at the box office, which is good. Cost 30-some million and made 54 million. So yeah, it's pretty decent. 54 million. About 123 million total worldwide. So it's a decent sized hit, which I'm glad for. It deserved it. It's a really good film. The source code. I would put that in my top 10 of 2011. Kind of vague on those two films because I want people to check it out. I guess another film was then Unknown with Liam Neeson. Now, Unknown, people say it's a lot like Taken. It really isn't. I mean, I kind of knew going in it wasn't going to be as action. It's not an action film, first and foremost. It is more of a thriller. How do I put it? Basically, Liam Neeson is his doctor. He's Martin Martin Harris. Him and his wife go in, and he's left his briefcase at the airport, so he has to go back to the airport. And on the way there, he is car gets smashed, gets hit, and fly off into the ocean. Well, not the ocean, but into the water below, off the little bridge embankment they're at. And the female, who's I believe her actress's name is Diane Kruger. She saves his life, and he wakes up. He was in a coma for a few days, and all he remembers really is his name and that he had a wife. But he goes up to talk to his wife, and his wife says he doesn't know him. And there's this other Martin Harris, played by Aidan Quinn. And basically, Liam Neeson has to find out what's going on. So he meets up with that woman who was his taxi driver again, to find out what's going on. And basically you find out a few things. I don't want to spoil it here for this one. I'm just going to spoil it. What you find out is that this is professor who has this way to help with food, world hunger. And he's meeting with a prince who's funding the professor's project. And you find there's going to be an assassination attempt, in which people will think it's on the prince, but it's really on the professor. And you have a few instances where people are trying to kill Liam Neeson, like he's in the hospital again, and someone kills a nurse and tries to kill him, but he's able to escape. Another time when he's with the girl taxi driver in her apartment, and he has a fight with one of them. Then you have a car chase. You have him thinking he met someone who knows him, but then he gets tasered and he's ready to be killed, but the taxi driver girl saves his life. And basically he finds out that in reality he was an assassin, so I guess it's kind of like a little bit of Bourne in there, in the plot. He was an assassin, he was working with a team, Aidan Quinn, his quote wife. They were going to assassinate, but now that he had the bump and lost his memory, he's actually now going to try and stop them. And he does. He has a final fight with Aidan Quinn. He's able to stop it. I mean, Unknown, really, it's an okay film. Definitely not as good as Taken. I don't know, at the end of the day, I must admit, I was kind of let down by Unknown. I mean, I would not rant about it. I don't think it's a bad film, Unknown. If you like Liam Neeson, it's worth a watch. I mean, definitely not as good as Taken. But it's an okay film. I mean, it is more of a thriller. I think some people compare it to Harrison Ford's Frantic. But to be honest, I don't like Frantic with Harrison Ford at all. I think Unknown's a lot better than Frantic. A lot faster paced than Frantic. I mean, Frantic... I just couldn't get into that. But Unknown... decent sized pace. The action scenes kind of few and far in between. Because it's more of a thriller. Again, I liked it. I could probably put in my top 10. Not a film that we watched too many times, but I liked Unknown okay. I mean, I thought it was okay. I mean, I don't think it's a bad film at all. It's definitely a lot better than like The Mechanic and stuff like that. A step down from Taken, but it's not rant worthy at all. I mean, I liked it okay. I mean, I liked it okay. You know, I didn't hate the film at all. It's not a bad film at all. Just, okay, that was okay. It was a time waster. Definitely a lot better than this one. Elephant White. I was not a fan of this film. It's, Djimon Hounsou, or however the hell you say his name, from, what was he in? He was in Amistad, The Island, little part in Deep Rising. He's been in a few films. He's basically a guy who used to work for an agency, and he's been hired. You have this guy who says that his daughter was killed and overdosed, and he wants to stop the sort of slave traders in Thailand and get revenge, and he's hired. And he meets with Kevin Bacon's character, who's sort of an arms dealer with a really bad English. English or Australian. I don't know where the fuck he was going with. Maybe accent. This is like the year of Kevin Bacon giving really bad accents. First X-Men First Class of shit. Really bad accent of German and Southern. Here is English. Kevin Bacon, you need to stay off the accents. His performance was laughable because the accent thing was very horrible. It was like any man I thought he was going to say, "Good day, love," or some bullshit. And Djimon Hounsou, I like him. I don't know if he can work as a lead in an action movie because he meets this girl, kind of sort of teenage girl, and he's doing the hits on some people, and he finds out the guy who hired him. Not really as it seems, that the guys who are hiring him to take care of. He's kind of the son or so of the main bad guy, and he wants them to take it out so that he becomes head of it. And it's just sort of there, got kind of boring. Some of the action scenes are decent, like, you know, sniper sequences. I think what turned me off is at the end. First off, there's a scene where total badass, Djimon Hounsou being a badass, he's in the woods and he's fucking people up with a gun and then a knife and then a gun and a knife. Comes up, slits the guy's throat, and then all of a sudden there's a fucking elephant. And of course, let me make sure. Of course, I know there's an elephant there. I know it's called Elephant White, which is another thing. Why? It's a bad title. The Elephant White. This is a bad title. And is it directed by this guy? Yep. Same man who directed this film directed On Bak, Thai Warrior, Muay Thai Warrior. Yeah, On Bak. And I think he did The Protector as well. Of course, elephants. When I saw the elephant, I should have known it was the same guy who directed On Bak and fucking Protector. Let it go with your fucking elephants. Alright? It's not fucking Dumbo. You need to do the fucking remake of Dumbo and get it over with. Pritchia Pankao, or what the fuck your name is. Just do your fucking... just do a live action version of Dumbo and get it out of your system with the fucking elephants. Alright? Or fucking elephants, so you can get out of your system. Stop fucking around with the elephants. And the thing is, he has this badass scene, and it's a fucking dream. He's having this badass scene with the knife, gun, slits the guy's throat, sees a fucking elephant, and it's a fucking dream because he wakes up. And I'm like, the best action scene in the movie is a fucking dream. And then he goes in, and he doesn't kill most of the bad guys. It's just he's about ready to, and all the bad guys come there, and then Kevin Bacon's there, and Kevin Bacon shoots the guy who hired Djimon Hounsou, and basically Djimon Hounsou is like, he was the guy who hired me, so he's the guy who wanted to fuck you up. I got this money, I'll just pay you and give me the kids, give me the women and your slave trade. And he's like, okay. And then they just part ways. And then here's the clincher. The teenager, the Asian girl who's been with him most of the time, she was a ghost! Yes! They try to pull a fucking... You know... I know it's Kevin Bacon, but this is not Stir of Echoes! Or Stir of Echoes 2 or 3, I should say. This 2 had fucking Rob Lowe in it. The whole time, the girl wasn't really there. She was a fucking ghost. I'm like, what? And then Kevin Bacon drives away with the women in tow to get him to a good place. And he's like, no, I still got stuff to do. And he walks back in. Like, he's drops him off side road and he's walking back in. And then it has the girl saying, you know, blah, 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 blah. And then the movie ends. I'm like... Elephant White sucks ass. Especially after seeing Unknown and definitely Source Code and Adjustment Bureau. Elephant White can suck some elephant dung. But anyway, those are my 4 reviews. Adjustment Bureau, Source Code, great movies with solid stories. Unknown, I liked it okay. Definitely not as good as Taken. It is more of a thriller. Definitely not an action movie. There's little bits of action, but didn't really impress me too much with the action. Um, but yeah, and Elephant White Canoe suck ass. But anyway, that's my 4 reviews. Thanks for watching, and take care. Later.